Hello and welcome to the Gospel and Grounds podcast. My name is Jeremy. I am a church planter and a pastor, and I'm here with my good friend Brandon Bauer, who is a pastor and a theologian. And this podcast is about drinking hot coffee and talking about hot topics that affect you and the church, the Bible, and theology today. Let's jump in. Well, good morning again, Brandon.
Good morning.
Giving you a little peek behind the curtain. We're recording these last 3 episodes of this mini-series all at the same time because I'm in the midst of moving and school's about to start back. So,
Yep, there's a lot of things that are happening. So we're trying to knock out a lot of these podcasts in a row.
Yep, just a reminder, we are going to take the month of August off, but we will be back in September, and our next season, spoiler alert, is going to be about continuationism versus cessationism. Do you want to tell us what that is, Brandon?
Yep. So it's going to primarily, the whole thing primarily talks about the gifts of the Spirit,
yes,
and do those gifts, especially certain gifts of the Spirit, have they continued on, continuation, after the apostles specifically, or did they end with the original 12 apostolic leaders of the church,
or at the canonizing of the scriptures?
Yeah, there's multiple places. I think most of the time, what I've heard people say is, when John, who's the last living apostle we know, when he died, all the healings and all the crazy things we see in the book of Acts, those are pretty much done, and we don't see them anymore.
And y'all know where we stand on this because we've said it multiple times that we are continuationists. So we will be kind of looking at cessationist arguments and then responding as continuationists.
Yes. Yeah. So like Jeremy said, full disclosure, we're both continuationists.
We've been pretty vocal about that. Yeah. Not ashamed about it.
No, not at all. So when we talk about it, we're going to do our best to honor the cessationist argument.
Because if they believe in Jesus and believe he's coming back, then they're our people.
Yep, that's right. All right. So that's season 2 coming up in September. But right now we need to finish out eschatology.
Yes, we do.
So last week we talked about astronomy. We talked about the ransacking of Jerusalem in AD 70.
Four Horsemen.
The Four Horsemen. Whoa. But I think this week we're probably going to talk about things that people are more familiar with in pop culture.
Yeah.
I guess the Four Horsemen could be one of those things. But we're going to be talking about the tribulation.
Yep.
The beasts. And the mark of the beast in particular.
Yep.
And the 2 witnesses.
Yeah, so, if you thought last week's dive into the Four Horsemen was intense, strap in because, today we are stepping right back into all of that stuff. So let's start by doing some Bible math.
Bible math.
Yep.
Should we be doing Bible math?
When you read through Revelation 11, 12, and 13, you keep running into a very specific set of time frames, 42 months, 1,260 days, and 3.5 years, referred to textually as a time, times, and half a time.
Okay, so we've talked about 2 kind of frameworks that we've been contrasting.
Yep.
A futurist view and a preterist view.
Yep, preterist / historical. Yep.
Yeah, / historical. So, all right. How do you want to do this? How do you want to talk about these?
Let's just jump in, I guess, because, the views here, the futurist application, these numbers, that would be the future 7-year global tribulation split cleanly into 2 3.5 or 42-month halves, in their view, are synthesized to construct a literal future tribulation period. Okay?
A literal
future 7-year global tribulation.
Okay.
Split in half. 3.5 years, 42 months. That's how the futurist interprets that.
Very interesting. Okay.
Now, the preterist or historicist, if you cross-reference the historical archives, a fascinating alternate reality emerges. And that's from the exact moment the Roman general Vespasian encamped his legions around Galilee, that's February of AD 67, to launch this swift suppression of the Jewish revolt to the final catastrophic destruction of Jerusalem and the temple in August of AD 70, the chronological duration of that bloody Roman military campaign was precisely 42 months.
Whoa.
So to the first century reader, this wasn't a mathematical riddle for the distant future. It was the exact duration of the geopolitical nightmare that they were living through.
And just to be clear, we're talking about the tribulation.
Yes.
And this is, you probably hear people talk about, hey, are you pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib? That's typically I'm referring to the rapture, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, yeah, that's referring to if you subscribe to rapture theology.
Yes.
Are you raptured pre-trib?
Yeah. Mid-trib,
or post-trib.
Honestly, I've never dealt much with the tribulation just because it scared me.
Yeah.
So I was like, and one of those things where it's just kind of like, I don't know if I really want to think about a tribulation. And then I don't know, I'm going to get off. But the tribulation is one of those things where we don't talk. I don't think it's talked about a whole lot. It's more like people just say, "There's a tribulation." Now let's talk about the rapture. You know what I'm saying?
Or they like to say, "Here's the tribulation. Here's all the armies that are going to be in the tribulation."
Here's true, yeah. Here's what the tribulation might look. And I think to be fair, those are often extreme cases.
Right.
Those are not your normal everyday church.
But they sell a lot of books.
Yes, they do. They do sell a lot of books.
Now, in this 7-year period, we have a couple of characters.
Okay, tell us about those characters.
So the first two characters we're going to talk about are called the two witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So in Revelation 11, two powerful witnesses step onto the stage.
Okay.
And these guys have supernatural power to shut up the skies so it can't rain. They turn bodies of water into blood and strike the earth with plagues before they are eventually killed by the beast rising from the pit. Now, who are these people?
Wow. So in the futurist system, the futurist camp would expect a literal, physical reappearance of two individual Old Testament prophets, most commonly argued to be Moses and Elijah, who will perform physical signs in a literally rebuilt Jerusalem temple marketplace. The text says that the whole world gazes at their dead bodies, which modern pop theologians love to claim is a clear prediction of satellite television, smartphones, and global digital media networks. I'm going to need you to take over.
So while Brandon is recovering, if we leverage the literary insight emphasized by Bible scholars like Tim Mackey and N.T. Wright, the text points to an internal corporate symbol. So let's kind of look at the Old Testament blueprint here. Why these specific powers? Why the water to blood? Why the striking the ground and the plagues rising up? Why shutting the sky so it does not rain? So Elijah is kind of the ultimate archetype of the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
The one who shut the sky, while Moses is the ultimate archetype of the law and the prophets making up the Old Testament, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Moses turned water to blood and was the one that caused the plagues. Well, God caused the plagues, but was the one that God used to cause the plagues in Egypt.
Yeah.
So together, we have the law and the prophets, the corporate prophetic witness of God's covenant people and the church.
Yep. And remember, for Elijah, he was the one who caused the rain to stop.
Yes, he shut the skies,
particularly in the northern kingdom.
Yep.
When the kingdom was split, and then after the famous Mount Carmel exercise, then you have the moment where he's like praying and tucking his head between his legs, and they're like, "Go look at the cloud. Go look at the cloud."
Yep.
Oh, and there's a cloud that's the size of a hand, and then like Elijah has this like supernatural sprint. And it just starts pouring down rain. So that's where that story is coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of different commentaries and study Bibles would suggest that when Rome permanently levels the city and obliterates the corrupt temple system, because let's remember, the temple system in the first century is not good. The Sadducees are running a mafia-style temple system that's very corrupt.
Well, even the fact that you have Sadducees and Pharisees and all these different sects This is just not healthy anyways.
Yep. So the old covenant prophetic witness is symbolically vindicated and caught up into heaven, proving that God's true temple is no longer made of physical stones. So we have these two witnesses, the law and the prophets, who are speaking against this thing and then are resurrected at the end.
Yeah. So I think what we need to be, again, I know we say this so much, but the reason why it was hard for me to talk through the futurist system is because it's like, well, it's just completely ignoring what would John be thinking of,
the historical realities of
when he's writing
the text
this,
is coming from.
What is his mental encyclopedia when he's talking about things being, bodies of water being turned to blood?
Yeah.
Immediately, your mind should think about the 10 plagues.
Moses. Yep.
You should think about Moses, and you're like, oh, okay. And when you start thinking, okay, they have the power to shut rain off from the skies. Oh, wow, I've never heard of that. You have, if your brain has been steeped in Old Testament literature, you immediately think of Elijah.
Elijah and Moses are superheroes to this the Jewish people of this time.
Those are also the people that appeared in the Mount of Transfiguration.
Exactly.
When you saw Jesus in his
Yep. You know who was there? John.
John
saw that.
Yep.
So now we have these two characters, and then we have two more characters, which are kind of the anti-two witnesses, and those are the beasts. Why don't you tell us a little bit about them?
So this is in Revelation chapter 13, which this kind of introduces the dynamic duo of cosmic evil. You have the sea beast and the earth beast.
Yep.
So the let's see, do we have a description of those in our notes? I don't think we do.
No, I don't think we do, but I can pull it up.
So the sea beast, he kind of symbolizes the Antichrist kind of symbol. And then the earth beast is the false prophet. Okay.
I'm pulling up Revelation 13 right now.
You're pulling up Revelation 13 right now.
All right, verse 1. And I saw a beast rising out of the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 diadems on its heads and on its horns, and blasphemous names on its heads.
Okay.
And the beast that I saw was like a leopard. Its feet were like a bear's, and its mouth was like a lion's mouth. And to it the dragon gave his power and his throne and great authority. One of its heads seemed to have a mortal wound, but its mortal wound was healed, and the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, for he had given his authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, and who can fight against it?" And the beast was given a mouth, uttering haughty and blasphemous words, and it was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. There's that number again. It opened its mouth to utter blasphemies against God, blaspheming his name and his dwelling, that is, those who dwell in heaven. Also, it was allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them. And authority was given to it over every tribe and people and language and nation, and all who dwell on earth will worship it. Everyone whose name has not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slain. If anyone has ear, let him hear. The second beast, I'm going to skip down to verse 11.
Yep.
Then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people. Oh, that's more shades of Elijah, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. Also, it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead. Oh, that's the mark.
Yeah.
So that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is, the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Oh, dear.
So this is clearly talking about the COVID vaccine, right?
I also couldn't help but when you started reading the sea beast thing, thinking of the scene in The Office where Michael Scott's like trying to figure out like a thing to worship, and he's like, it's got the head of a monkey.
Maybe we could make a sacrifice. We are
Anyways,
so cursed.
so okay, so we have two beasts here.
Yes.
Right?
Let's talk about it.
We got the sea beast.
Yep.
We call it the sea beast because he's coming up out of the sea.
It's very original.
Very original. So the futurist view would expect a singular, charismatic, future global dictator who rises to power by brokering an unmatched peace treaty in the Middle East, particularly, miraculously survives a lethal head wound, and demands absolute global worship.
Yep.
Okay. The preterist and historical view is the beast is not a single person in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It is the corporate predatory machinery of the Roman Empire. Its 7 heads represent 7 consecutive Roman Caesars.
And isn't Rome built on 7 hills?
I actually don't know.
I think it is. Let me look.
I don't know about Rome too much. Okay, so, but that doesn't talk about the mortal wound.
Nope.
So what about that head that suffered the fatal wound but lived? Historical sources kind of point directly to the chaotic year of AD 68. This would be where Emperor Nero... let's see.
Rome is built on 7 hills,
Yeah,
too.
the 7 hills of Rome. Interesting. So going back to Nero, he committed a violent suicide, throwing the empire into complete political chaos and civil war. Many thought Rome would collapse, but it survived and was stabilized via the rapid ascension of
Vespasian.
Oh my goodness. Vespasian. The beast healed its own mortal wound and kept marching. So that's kind of how the preterist historical view would view that.
Now, what about the Earth Beast, though?
So the Earth Beast, the narrative reality of this is that the Sea Beast, if the Sea Beast is the raw political and military power of the empire, specifically the Roman Empire, the Earth Beast is its propaganda machine.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
So in the first century, this was a network of, provincial priesthoods and Roman cults whose entire job was to enforce loyalty to Rome. They would construct statues of the empire, or of the emperor, and they would ensure civic compliance. So it would look something like someone coming into a town who's been conquered by Rome. They would set up this. It's like a picture of usually it's a picture of the emperor kind of surrounded by fruit trees and all this kind of thing.
Right.
And they would say like, this is the gospel. This is the good news. You've been, liberated.
You've been liberated by Emperor Vespasian.
Yep. Or in, past emperors, it would be whatever emperor.
Yep.
Nero, whatever.
Yep.
And they would say like, essentially like, be glad, be happy. This is good news. This is the gospel. Like you've been liberated. You're now safe. Yada, yada, yada. Now give us all your money. And if you get out of line, we're going to squish you.
Yep. And this brings us to where we're kind of going to land the plane for this episode, which is the hotly contested,
very hotly contested,
talked about in lots of different ways, the mark of the beast. Because every time something comes out, whether it's a social security number or a COVID vaccine or, a microchip or,
anything,
a cell phone, we're going to talk about this is the mark of the beast.
It never fails.
Right.
That something comes up and everyone's getting it, or especially if the government says, hey, you should probably get this.
Right.
Immediately, it feels like everyone's like, oh, that's the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
It's like,
don't do it. Don't do it.
So
the mark of the beast, which is put to the number 666.
Yeah.
Without which no one can buy or sell. Now, for decades, apocalyptic media has conditioned us to look for it, barcodes, microchips, vaccines, hidden RFID technology. But if we look at it in a historical way, we are forced to pull our heads out of modern conspiracy theories and look at the actual realities in the first century.
Yep. So in ancient Roman world, trade and commerce were deeply intertwined with pagan idolatry.
Yep.
To participate legally in the local marketplace or trade guilds, citizens frequently had to drop a pinch of incense into a pagan imperial altar and audibly declare Caesar as Lord. Fun fact, this is why Jesus was killed.
Yeah.
This is how the Jews got Jesus killed, is because you had to worship Caesar.
Yep.
And the Jews were like, hey, this guy's saying he's Lord and King.
Yep. He's saying he's king.
And so,
in fact, the Sadducees is recorded in the book of John say, we have no king but Caesar.
So like This is like deeply embedded into Rome. So doing so granted you legal credentials to trade.
Yep. What happened if you refused, though?
Yes. So if you refused out of loyalty to Jesus, so Christians, obviously, we would say like, no, Caesar is not Lord. We would say Jesus is Lord. You were economically canceled, shut out of the market. You were left unable to buy or sell. Yep. This was radical in that time because you were not bending the knee to Caesar. You were bending the knee to Jesus.
Yep. And so why the number 666?
All right.
So in ancient languages like Hebrew and Greek, here we go. Letters held numerical value.
Wait, this is on the monster can, right?
Yeah. You tip up that monster and Satan laughs. So there's a practice known as gematria.
Okay.
It might be gematria. We'll see. If you take the name Nero Caesar, Nero, bad emperor, did not like Christians, was also probably verifiably insane.
Yes, there's a lot of tragic and weird stories about his life.
But if you are like me and Brandon and ascribe to an early authoring of Revelation, Nero would have been the emperor in charge while John is writing on Patmos. Okay? So if you're going to warn people about Caesar, Nero Caesar, it's probably not going to be very safe for you to write his name in the letter that you're distributing, is it?
Probably not.
Probably not. So Nero Caesar, if you take that and translate it into Hebrew characters, the mathematical sum totals exactly 666. Fascinatingly, some early manuscripts read 616, which is the exact calculation if you spell Nero Caesar using the Latin textual variation.
Very interesting. So you're saying John's writing code.
John was writing a pastoral letter to real churches under immediate Roman tyranny, utilizing a code they could easily calculate to identify their immediate oppressor.
Very interesting. Much different than a vaccine.
Yep.
Or
a microchip or a barcode or a smartphone. Yep.
Very interesting.
Yep. So the mark is a profound theological parody. In biblical theology, everyone is marked. That's why we see in the Old Testament so much talking about bearing the name.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So where would, it in Deuteronomy, it talks about the priest wearing the scriptures. And where do they wear them? On their hand and on their forehead. So you either carry the invisible spiritual seal of the Holy Spirit on your forehead and your hand, signifying that your thoughts and your actions belong completely to Yahweh, or you wear the mark of the beast, signifying that your primary allegiance belongs to your own self-will and the corrupt consumerist spirit of empire.
Yikes.
Yep. So what I'm saying...
This is much different than those pop apocalyptic, theologians.
Yeah. So it's not a secret microchip you can accidentally take on a Tuesday afternoon.
No.
It is a question of ultimate allegiance.
And arguably, this is a lot more pertinent to our time.
Oh, yeah.
It's not something you can easily like scoot around.
No.
Because I think if you think about it in the sense of like, I don't want to get the mark of the beast. Well, if I don't get the COVID vaccine, then I don't have the mark of the beast. But I can still put my allegiance to other things that aren't Jesus if I really wanted to.
It's less about, oh no, I got to be on guard from, no one's going to put a barcode on me. But it's, are you living the self-sacrificing way of Jesus, of the Lamb, or are you buying into the exploitive system of empire and of the dragon?
Yeah, so I'm currently working on like writing a book about simplicity. I'm a minimalist, and so I'm talking about how to get rid of things and all that kind of stuff. One of the things, though, that I'm talking about in that book is the intentionality of when you buy a T-shirt, and that T-shirt is, let's just say, for example, it says it's, made in Vietnam. Oftentimes, we in America specifically don't think about where that T-shirt came from.
Sure.
And we often buy multiple different T-shirts, and we have a plethora of clothing.
Yep, I'm guilty of this.
Yep. But if you stop and think for a second, okay, where was this T-shirt made? Vietnam. How was it made? Sometimes we don't even think about this.
Right.
But most likely, because we've seen this become a thing where, some companies would call it greenwashing, where they're like, I'm environmental, but they're not really.
Yeah.
But we do see there are some companies and some organizations who have done the research, and they found that no, these clothes are made by people in sweatshops who are essentially, slaves, because they're not paid a livable wage. They work for pennies.
Yep.
And they're just cranking out these T-shirts to be sent to places like America.
Yep.
And every time you buy a T-shirt, you are, without knowing it, you are somehow contributing to an extremely exploitive human system.
Yeah.
That is evil and consumeristic.
Yep.
It's just something to think about. I'm not saying that buying T-shirts is horrible.
No. But you can apply this to different things too. Like every time you walk past a person in need on the street and don't think about them.
Right.
Don't pray for them.
Yep.
Don't offer to give them anything.
This is also, putting elderly people in homes that we don't have to think about them. And, we don't really care what those homes, the quality of those homes or anything, but I can't think about them, so I'm going to put them over there.
Or, me and you, we do like to live comfortably. Like you live in a nice apartment. I'm moving into a nice duplex. But when we put our own comfort and material things above those who are in need, we're doing the same thing.
I think the thing we want you to think about when it comes to the mark of the beast, I think the pastoral wisdom here that we want to pass on is not so much, don't worry about random conspiracy, ideas, as fun as they can be. Start to think more about the, piece of clothing you put on, or the person that you ignore walking down the street, or, all of these other things that can come up. What's happening in the world, and think, wait a minute, am I somehow contributing to the this like evil empire that, and that sounds wild to say, but it's true. It's what's happening.
Well, and at the end of the day, there's no neutral ground. Everything is either the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of the beast. You got to pick one. And, and sometimes, one of my pastors that I really look up to says this thing about, I'm not so worried about us doing the big sins. Like, not where are you blatantly sinning, but where are you being sneaky?
Right.
Or where are you taking the easy way?
Right. Yeah.
Those are the things, like, because if y'all are listening to this podcast, you're probably not, out there actively doing horrible crimes or even like
murdering people.
You're probably not even like necessarily like a beginning level Christian, because we're talking about some pretty heavy stuff.
Right.
But so I don't think you're out there, smoking your crack pipe listening to this podcast. I mean, you could be, and if you are, you should stop and repent. But where are you being sneaky, or where are you taking the easy way instead of the way of Jesus? That's what we're really getting to.
Yes, and I think, we could talk about this for like so much. There's so many different things. There's an author I really love. He broke down how there's kind of like 4 levels of sin, and not that there's worse sins than other sins.
Right, sin is sin.
Sin is sin, but there's kind of like you were talking about those egregious sins, but then there's like some of the sins that are like culturally acceptable, like gossip, and then you've got below that, those are the sins of like omission, where it's like that's where you ignore the person on the street, that's where you don't say something to someone when they whatever it may be. But then that 4th level is, what are your idols?
Yeah.
What are the things that you are worshiping that are not Jesus?
Yeah. Where does your mind drift?
And these can be good things.
Mm-hmm.
Kids,
Yeah.
comfort,
Your marriage.
your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You can start to put those things in front of Jesus.
Yeah. Your physical fitness. Like,
yeah. And those aren't bad things.
No, they're good things.
But when they take priority.
Yeah. But they're not meant to sit on the throne of your heart.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's just something to think about when when you think about the mark of the beast. It's not so much like this. We've said this 1,000 times. It's not this like crazy, conspiracy thing, but it could be the American dream.
Yep. Yeah. When you think about the mark of the beast, what are you putting your mind and your hands to?
Yep.
Because that's how people are going to know who you're marked by.
Yep. Yes.
Is by what you think about and what you do with your hands.
Yep.
So,
all right.
Next
week.
Yeah. Let's stop beating this dead horse. Next week, we bring the story to its grand finale. So we are moving past the smoke of the seals and the terrors of the beast to look at the split heavens, the cosmic wedding, the reality of the millennium, and the final physical restoration of the cosmos.
I'm very excited about this, actually.
Man, I am so excited.
Because, it's going to be good.
Yeah,
Really good.
Resist that spirit of empire. Don't let it mark your heart, your hand, or your head, and stand firm, examining the scriptures deeply, and walk in the peace of the true King Jesus. Maranatha.
Yep.
For Gospel and Grounds, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Brandon.
And we will conclude this season next week.
Yep. Thanks for listening to the Gospel and Grounds podcast. This is part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Our theme music was provided by the band Splitwave. And if you'd like to learn more about this podcast and others, you can visit evergreentn.cc. As always, we bless you to grow in the way of Jesus together.